The blood of the Chalicothere steams in the killing cold, a single, shocking smear of red on a world of absolute white. Oron, the lead hunter, feels the familiar tremor of triumph in his arms as he works the heavy flint cleaver through joint and sinew. This kill means warmth. It means full bellies. It is the only victory that matters in this chapter of hominid history. Around him, the other four men of his band move with practiced efficiency, their breath plumbing like smoke signals in the frigid air. They wear the pelts of great bears and woolly rhinos, but the wind finds every seam, a constant, biting reminder of their fragility on this ancient earth. Their spears masterpieces of photo-keratitic technology, tipped with the sharpened teeth of cave lions, and the hoary rhino are leaned against the carcass, their work done. The problem is the sun. It hangs in a pale, hazy sky, a merciless eye that reflects off the endless ice sheet. The glare is a physical blow, a constant pressure behind the eyes that reduces the vast cryospheric to a shimmering, featureless void. Oron squints, his world dissolving into a dance of searing light and swimming black spots. He remembers the way back as a feeling, a deep-seated instinct honed over a lifetime of such hunts, a slight rise in the ice to the west, a series of frozen ridges to the north, but now, under the sun's assault, the landscape is flattened, erased. Every direction is a mirror of the lost. They load the meat onto crude sledges of bone and hide, the weight a promise of life that now feels like an anchor. They turn towards home, but where they believed home to be, they walk for hours, a line of dark, struggling figures in an ocean of white. The sun crawls across the sky, its position the only marker of time's passage. No one speaks. The effort of pulling the sledges and the pain in their eyes demands silence. This is the brutal rhythm of prehistoric life, a contest between endurance and the elements. Their usual survival skills, so effective in the broken lands of rock and forest, are rendered useless here. There are no trees to read, no riverbeds to follow, only the maddening uniform shimmer. It is Bell, the youngest, who stops first. He drops the hide rope of his sledge and covers his face with his hands. "I see spots." He whispers, his voice thin against the wind. The black spots dance where the ridges should be. Cale, the elder, halts the procession. His own eyes are clouded with age, a milky film that has ironically spared him the worst of the glare. He looks at the others. He sees the same affliction in them all, the raw, weeping redness, the unfocused gazes. They have been walking blind, guided by a memory of a landscape that the sun has stolen. As the light begins to fade into the long, blue twilight of the Ice Age, the true horror descends. The cold deepens with terrifying speed. They are lost utterly, terrifyingly lost in a white desert that offers no comfort, no shelter, and no direction. The triumph of the hunt has turned to ash in their mouths. The cold is a predator now. With the sun gone, the temperature plummets, and the wind, once just an annoyance, becomes a blade that seeks the marrow of their bones. They huddle together behind the meat sledges, a desperate knot of warmth against the vast, indifferent ice. Panic, cold and sharp, begins to set in. Oron, their leader, is as blind as the rest, his authority stripped away by the featureless world. He stares into the blue-black darkness, seeing nothing but the ghost-white glare imprinted on the back of his eyes. Despair is a weight, heavier than the meat, threatening to crush them. It is Cale who breaks the silence. He shuffles forward, his old, clouded eyes seeing more than their young, sun-scoured ones. "The sun has eaten your sight," he rasps. He rasps, his voice a dry crackle. "So you must learn to see with your skin, with your nose." He kneels, his gloved hand brushing the surface of the snow. "Feel this." Oron crawls closer. Confused, Cal guides his hand. The wind has a voice. It cards the story of its journey into the ice. Oron feels them long, parallel, wave-like ridges, hard as rock, sculpted into the snowpack. Sastrugi, Cale says, giving the pattern its ancient name. The wind has blown from the mountain shoulder for 3 days. It does not change. These lines point away from home. We must walk against them. A flicker of understanding, a spark of hope. It is a map, written in a language they had forgotten how to read. This is the essence of their survival skills, the deep knowledge born from millennia of hominid history. Cal rises slowly, his joints protesting the cold. He turns his face into the wind and inhales deeply. A long, slow draw of the frigid air. "Breathe," he commands. The others obey, their lungs aching from the cold at first, There is nothing but the clean, sterile scent of ice, but then, beneath it something else, faint, impossibly faint, the sharp, resinous sting of pine. The great forest, Bell whispers, his voice thick with awe. It is that way. The scent and the sastrugi align. They have a compass, they have a direction. They begin to move, a stumbling, slow procession into the teeth of the wind. Navigating by feel and scent, the moon rises, a sliver of bone in a sky of obsidian, offering little light but a cold sense of orientation. They are no longer blind, but vulnerable. And they are not alone. As they cross a flat, open expanse, Cale stops again. He points to the ground. There, pressed deep into the wind-scoured ice, is a track. It is immense, the size of a man's torso. With 3 great toes tipped with claws that have fractured the ice, the track is repeated, a line of them emerging from the gloom, pacing their own trail. They are terrifyingly fresh, the edges are still sharp, not yet softened by the wind. These early humans know the stride, the weight, the tracks of a Yutyrannus, the great feathered tyrant of the north, one of the most dangerous prehistoric animals. And the tracks are walking their way. It was not chance that brought it here. It smelled the kill. It has been stalking them for hours, a ghost in the white, waiting for the cold and darkness to do its work. Fear is a different kind of cold. It seeps past the furs and leathers, a chilling dread that tightens the chest and makes the simple act of breathing a conscious effort. The tracks of the Yutyrannus are a death sentence written in the snow. They are weak, half-blind, and pulling a bloody advertisement for their presence through the beast's own hunting grounds. To stop is to freeze, to run is to invite the chase. Cale's wisdom has given them a map, but it leads through the jaws of a monster. Every shadow in the munglow becomes a feathered head, every gust of wind the sound of its approach. The study of paleontology would one day piece together its bones. They were living through the terror of its flesh and blood reality. Oron forces his mind past the fear. He is a hunter. He must think like a hunter. The beast is patient. It follows, knowing the cold is its ally. Their only chance is to use the landscape Cale has taught them to read again against it. He remembers a place, a story told by his father, a landmark from a different kind of hunt, a great chasm, a crack in the ice world that runs for miles, spanned only by a single, treacherous bridge of ancient ice. If they can reach it, they might be able to make a stand. It is a desperate gamble, a race against their own failing endurance and the tireless stride of the predator. They push on, the need for survival burning away the pain in their eyes and the ache in their muscles. They no longer speak, communicating in tense hand signals. The senses stretch to the breaking point. The stars emerge, cold and diamond-sharp in the clear, black sky. This is the first, true act of celestial navigation in human history. Born not of curiosity, but of desperation, Cale, his sight now a strength, points out the spear-shaped cluster of stars that hangs over the distant mountain. Their ultimate destination, as long as they keep it over their left shoulder, they are walking the path home. The grown stressed ice tells them they are close. The chasm appears before them, a slush of absolute black in the white landscape. And there it is, the bridge, a narrow spine of ice barely wide enough for 2 men to walk abreast. As they begin to cross, a sound splits the night, a deep, resonant roar that is felt in the bones as much as heard. The Yutyrannus stands on the edge of the chasm behind them, a mountain of dark feathers and teeth against the stars. Its immense form no longer a ghost but a terrible, immediate threat. It will not follow them onto the narrow bridge. It is too large, too heavy. For a moment, there is relief. Then, horror dawns. Bell, at the rear of the line, his sledge, heavy with meat, slips. His feet go out from under him, and he falls, his leg twisting with a sickening crack of bone. He screams, a sound of pure agony. The sledge, with its precious cargo of meat, slides to the very edge of the bridge. Oron turns. He sees Bell clutching his shattered leg. He sees the tyrant roaring in frustration on the far side. And he sees Cale, the elder, make a choice with a strength no one thought he possessed. Cale shoves the heavy meat sledge. It teeters for a moment on the precipice, then plunges into the blackness of the chasm. The Yutyrannus lets out a frustrated bellow as its prize disappears. Then, Cale and another hunter, without a word, grab the injured Bell, half carrying, half dragging him across the bridge to safety. They have made it, they are alive, but they have sacrificed their keel, their promise of warmth and food. They are limping home, empty-handed and broken. But they are going home. Their act of altruism, a fundamental spark of what it means to be human, has won them another day in a world that wants them dead. Embers and echoes. They return not as conquerors but as survivors, their faces etched with the harsh lessons of the ice. The clans ease their empty sledges in the state of the injured belt, and they understand. The story of their ordeal is told not in boasts, but in quiet, halting words, a story of being unmade by light and remade by darkness. It becomes a new kind of legend, a cautionary tale that carries within it the seeds of a profound discovery. They learn that a map can be written by the wind, that the scent of home can be carried for miles on the breeze, and that the stars are more than just pinpricks of light in the endless night. They begin to look up, charting the cold fire of the heavens, giving names to the shapes they see, creating the first star charts as a promise to never be so lost again. This brutal encounter with the vast, featureless world forces a shift in their perception. It is a terrifying lesson in scale, in the humbling reality of their place within this ancient, powerful land. But in that terror, they do not just find fear, they find a new way to see, a new language to describe their world, and a new understanding of their own resilience. The bones of the Yutyrannus will someday be studied by those who call themselves paleontologists, but for this small clan, the memory of its feathered shadow and patient hunger becomes the bedrock of their wisdom. How does a species with no claws, no fangs, no innate armor, dare to claim a world ruled by such titans? It learns to read the unwritten maps, to follow the light of dead suns, and to understand that the greatest tool for survival is not the sharpened stone in the hand, but the shared story in the mind. This is the chronicle of the first navigators, and in the deepest, coldest chasms of the ice, something else has learned to survive the crushing dark.